Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my YouTube channel. We've been doing a series on unemployment issues and basically just to get to know exactly what are the students feeling, especially when it comes to them not being employed, so many needs but little sources of income. And today, basically, we are here to have a conversation on just getting to know exactly how does it feel when they keep knocking doors but there are no doors that are open for them. They keep writing application or letters, but some of them, a good number, keeps getting rejections. And with me on the studio today is an amazing person who is going just to introduce herself, then get to tell us exactly maybe an introduction of has she been in that situation where she's written applications, letters, looking for an opportunity to work somewhere, and maybe has she been rejected before? That's something that we're going to hear. Karibu sana.
Hi, so my name is Jacinta. I'm a student here at the University of Nairobi, and unemployment is a really big issue, especially amongst us young people, students particularly. A lot of us maybe have finished school.
Yes.
Very promising academics, maybe you finished with very good grades, first class honors, and then when you get out there, the expectations versus the reality is very, very different. So you find a lot of students, first class honors, they're out there maybe having to resort to lower sources of income.
Sure.
Things like selling sausages, cookies, eggs. Some are conductors. It's very sad, and it begs the question, where whose fault is this? Who do we blame? Do we blame the students?
Okay.
Do we blame the systems? Do we blame the government? It's so sad. Myself, I'm still a student.
Sure.
And in my final year, final semester, and of course that comes with the worry that when I finish school, where do I go next?
Okay.
You know, I've seen a lot of stories of students who have done even well than maybe probably I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you're like, if this student has gotten that first class honors, the best in the entire school, and is out there with no job, what is in store for me?
Yeah.
So it's really saddening.
Yeah.
It even makes you lose motivation. You're very worried. You're not excited. It's not as exciting completing school as it was maybe in the past.
Yeah.
When you compare, you see a lot of students in the past. Some of them had guaranteed jobs. Like the transition between school and getting into a job was very high as compared to now. So you find a lot of students even get jobs when they're still students.
Sure.
Now you finish 2 years, people are still, they call it tamaking. People are still tamaking.
Yeah.
It's very sad. I don't know.
And I was just looking, 2 years back, there was this story that was going on of the University of Nairobi student who got a first class honor on electrical and electronics engineering.
Yeah.
And it was crazy on how he kind of got stuck in his rural home, and there was no like really opportunity for him. And I know this kind of got to hit on the news because sometimes these are courses that have been considered to be good courses, that if you happen to be an engineer student in that field, it's marketable, and therefore there's an expectation that you are supposed to get an employment and just something that will be working for you. So and for me, when I think about that, the first thing that comes in my mind that there could be chances that being unemployed can be a cause of mental let's say you're not balanced, you're not mentally stable. So basically what gets to happen is for a student like this one, for him to get to a point where he started writing things online. I also saw a student who was banning all his academic credentials because got to a point that he's so stressed, his mind isn't really okay. He feels like I really worked so hard for this opportunity, but I kind of didn't get to have it. So these students, they end up being destabilized and they end up feeling like I'm not just okay. And there's been quite a good number of students who have been reported to undergo depression and mental health issues related because of working so hard in school and not getting that opportunity to work for the course that they kind of schooled for. And perhaps this now maybe brings me to the issue of, do you think in these cases where a student has done all this but they are still stuck in town, do they become dependable to their parents that much?
You know, I'm picturing a student, very promising, did the big courses, engineering, and then you're there, graduation, everyone has come, your parents, your villagers. So after the whole graduation party, you're like, what next? You don't have a source of income. You have nothing to do. School maybe was occupying most of your time. you have nothing to do, and then your parents are looking at you. They are like, I've invested so much into education, into you. So when are the returns going to come back?
Yeah.
And then you also now you are stuck. You can't. Your parents are not as giving as they were maybe when you were students, because they were understanding. The student is focusing on their studies now. My child has finished school. I'm expecting them to start fending for themselves, things like that. And I think some of these pressures are, the most contributing factors to depression or mental health challenges, as mentioned. Yeah. There's also something as comparison. I know we say comparison is a thief of joy, but sometimes you just can't help it. Yeah. So maybe you are in class, you see your classmates getting jobs, better jobs, you're stuck there. Sometimes maybe you even thought you were doing better off maybe academically than them, but they get jobs before you. There's also, people gossip. Villagers are like, the child went to a very, very big university. We can't see anything coming out of it. So all this can get to someone. And it's really, it comes to the rejection, that feeling. Personally, I've applied, still a student, I've been trying out some applications, some jobs here and there, because in the current state that we are, as a student, you just can't sit waiting to finish school as if there's a job for you. You have to start applying as early on, even third year, fourth year. So I've been trying to do that. You apply a lot. You apply a lot on very many platforms. You apply on LinkedIn, you apply on Indeed. Very many platforms, different roles. You even apply things that you haven't done. Maybe you're doing journalism. You apply things like virtual assistant, writer, very different things. You get a lot of rejections. The journey is not easy. Like for me personally, I started applying jobs around last year. Now seriously apply around last year, maybe April, May. And you get a lot of rejections. Some of, unfortunately, you can be very confident in your skills. You can have the skills, but it's a matter of selling yourself. So you get very many unfortunately. We are sorry to inform you. You get, some people don't even reply. Some companies don't even reply. So it can get very disheartening. But what can you do?
And I think for me, basically, if you're a student and you're out there and you've gotten to a point where you're feeling like you don't know exactly what to do, basically it's just to tell you that I think that this is why it is important for us to grow in the direction of entrepreneurship, because it's really becoming tougher to be employed by a specific group of maybe companies. Therefore, you're only called to be someone who can create your own job. Those are the routes that we would say are safer routes, because unemployment is something that is becoming a real issue in the country, especially in campuses. So just the last one to get to tell us, and especially the students, what would you tell us?
I think, as you've said, exploring ways in which you can get sources of income, not the conventional way, like waiting to get a job, is very, very important. In this economy, in this society, you need to quick thinker, be able to identify a problem and find a way that you can come up with a solution for it while still getting money from it.
All right.
Being an entrepreneur, we've seen very inspiring stories for students who are starting their own businesses when they're still at school. Students who are, applying for those jobs, getting them when they're still at school, and it's just very inspiring. And in as much as there's still hope, you cannot just sit. You have to go the extra mile, push yourself, because now times are different, times are changing. You cannot just sit and wait. I'm the best in my class. When I finish school, I know I'll get a job here and here and here. You have to, and if you don't get a job, there's always ways. They say the money that you get, as long as you've worked for it, it doesn't matter what kind of job that you are working for.
Right.
So I think that is what should be pushing students and to just keep going.
All right, and so that has been our conversation today, just to get to let you know that it's real, that despite just giving us statistics and numbers and things that are causing students to be unemployed, it's good to understand that there could be effects that or outcomes of the students not being in a space where they are working. That has been our conversation today. We'll remain tuned and take care of yourself. If you're a student, you're out there, there is still hope for you. Till next time, thank you.